Thank you for tuning back in to the Classic Man podcast, where we talk about real things, real stories, real people's lives that we are impacting. So I'm super excited. So many of you guys have been tuning in. Over 500 searches by name on Spotify alone has me mind blown that we've come along this far in such a short amount of time. So thank you for supporting this crew. With us today, we got my main man who's been rocking with us this whole time.
What's happening, guys? Thank you guys for tuning back in. I got also my beautiful wife, Natalie, with me today. Well, with us. So,
hi, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
And with that, we have our guest today, Miss Aubrey, who I am so excited to have on the set with us.
Hi, guys. I'm Aubrey. Right now, I'm going into my master's of social work. I just got done with my bachelor's with social work and psychology. Well, I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan. And
313.
yeah. And then now I'm in this small town in Ohio.
Welcome to the Classic Man podcast. I'm Justin Kashmirchik, also known as the Jump Cut King. And before we dive into today's episode, a quick word. First off, if this is your first time tuning in, hit the subscribe button, tap the bell, and drop a link. And if any of this resonates with you, support it. It costs nothing and means everything. You can catch Classic Man on all major podcast platforms, so head over to classicmanpodcast.com after the show for guest info, all the links, bonus content, and maybe support the team. Buy them a cup of coffee. Secondly, beyond being a friend and brother to these guys featured on this podcast, I also launched a business that might just change the way you think about web design. It's called the EGT Universe, and you can find out all about it at egtuniverse.com. And to get on the ground floor when we launch the public service, you can join the newsletter and get in on a whole new way to build your brand online. No more Squarespace, no more WordPress, just a sleek, high-end luxury web experience without the price tag of a Fortune 500. And if you or someone you know is launching something or operates a brand, a nonprofit, a business, and they need a digital facelift, my marketing company can help them. We've already started serving startups, creatives, and even big organizations. It's a real impact. Go to egtuniverse.com and drop me a line. But for now, turn it up, tune in, really focus. Let's get into today's content.
Yeah, but you've already been doing a fair bit of work in social work, right?
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about what that's looked like for you.
Oh, yeah. So junior year of college, we have one internship, and I was working with kids at an elementary school. And senior year, I moved into another different after-school program, still working with kids the same age. Post-graduation, offered a job right out of the gate. So blessed for that, so grateful for that. Have great coworkers, staff. The clients I work with daily are one of a kind that I couldn't be more blessed with. Right now, I'm working with kids struggling with mental health diagnosis and life skills, behavioral skills, social skills, coping skills. We teach them these things that they can use in the real world. They are able to communicate with peers their age daily, with staff, their case managers, other therapists. This is helping me with what my end goal is, which will be to work with behavioral needed teens, young adults, private practice.
Okay, so switching up to a bit of an older age group than what you have now.
Yes. Originally, that's all I wanted to work with. I didn't want to work with kids at all. Since having this job, my mind is completely open now.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I've loved working with kids. I can work with anybody.
And honestly, being able and willing to work with anybody is such a crucial part, no matter what form of response you do. Mm-hmm. So we're not first responders in this field.
Right.
But we have to respond to the needs of our clients.
Yeah. A lot of them.
But we don't get to control what clients come in. We don't get to control what they deal with.
Right.
So, I mean, whether you're a nurse or a doctor in the emergency room, or whether you're in behavioral sciences or behavioral care, you have to be able to work with whatever presents itself.
Yeah.
And that takes a different or a special type of person to be able to handle how much you actually bring home from working in this field.
Yeah, it does. Just the amount of things of how heavy a caseload can get.
Yeah.
You know, on some of these companies, you know, as far as having anywhere from 40 to more on your caseload a week. You know, that's a stressful environment sometimes.
And then the depth of those cases, the types of trauma that
man.
you're dealing with. I just had someone, and she's okay with me sharing this bit, but who had completely blocked out the sexual abuse from a teacher that she had in middle school.
Wow.
And I can see that, man. You know,
Yeah.
the subconscious, to protect itself, it'll be the first thing it does is it'll begin to block them things off.
Yeah.
But then it'll show up later and really create some problems if
sure.
you know, if you don't have them impeccable thoughts or if you haven't worked it out.
Yeah, and
you
he
know.
also used the drug in that process, which also pulled from what she was able to actually hold on to.
Yeah.
And we're talking 20, 22 years later
Wow.
that she's able to finally dig through and work through
Yeah.
so much of this. It's just amazing to see like how far people can come when they're ready to actually deal with the things that are going on in their lives. If you even know, you know, because in that situation, she had no idea for so long. And it's just so amazing that you are able to make progress when you don't give up.
Yeah, you know, I think a lot of the times as humans, we get to this place where maturity grows with us. And then we're like, all right, something needs to change. And it sparks a want. And once we get that desire and the want, then the drive turns on to want to change ourselves and begin to make the changes we need.
Yeah.
But I believe it comes with a stage of development of maturity
And the right
and
support.
growth. Of course, with the right support,
Yeah.
definitely.
Trauma can also produce memory loss.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of things you'll block out, not even remembering the fullness of what happened to you because
Right.
Yeah, it's a symptom of post-traumatic stress.
yeah.
Say something happens to an individual when they're like 5 years old. At the age of 16, they're going to start picking up on these random traits that they are like, oh, I don't know why I'm like this. I don't know why I'm different from everybody else around me. I was created differently than this person. I think differently than this person. There's something wrong with me. They don't know that what happened to them during their whatever development stage they were in is affecting them now at the age of 16.
Right.
Same with families. Say something like just say anything happens. Anything happens within a family. That situation can define the actions of somebody in their future.
Yeah, and so with family, we see that a lot of things are learned. Now, a lot of these things can be from within the household or they can be from outside of the household, and that kind of depends on what you have access to at different ages, what your parents kind of allow you to be able to see or hear. I think of it with J. Cole.
Okay, yeah.
So J. Cole dropped that song, No Role Models.
Yeah.
And you quote this song in most urban areas, first things first, rest in peace, Uncle Phil.
Phil, yeah.
Most people are jumping in, right?
Yep.
And what he talks about is, you're the only father that I ever knew. You're
Right.
the only figure that I've had. And so I've legit learned what I needed to be as a man growing up through a character on television.
Right.
And so you have some other artists who have kind of talked about the downfall of certain actors or different things that kind of then throw off your perception because they're playing a character on the screen and that's not necessarily who they are in real life.
Right.
Or you're not seeing them in real life.
Yeah.
On the flip side, one of my favorite songs, being from Detroit, is that the Detroit versus Everybody shirt? Yeah, there we go. Big Sean. Man, it would be dope to have him on here one day.
That would be.
We got to hit him up.
Come check us out.
So with Big Sean, he dropped one song called One Man Can Change the World.
Yeah.
And in that song, he talks about his grandmother and he walks through everything she did to pour into his life and to create the person that he is today.
Wow.
And that song is so crucial for me, having like so many powerful women
Yeah.
in my family. And I've had some strong male role models as well. And
Yeah.
so that's what we're talking about today. We want to know whether or not men are undervalued in today's society in their role as fathers in the household. Let me know your thought.
My father was not there all the time. My parents split at a young age. So my mom ended up finding my stepdad, who I'm forever grateful for, at a young age for me. So I did have a father figure growing up. It wasn't my biological father, though, which having both of them, but one of them's really not there and another one stepped up.
Yeah.
So it's like, I know that my real dad's out there, but he doesn't want me.
Right.
But then I have this stepdad that I hold on this pedestal because he's been there through thick and thin. He's been to every sporting event. He's been to all my school activities. He's done countless things for me. Still having that thought in the back of my head where it's like, my dad's out there. He just doesn't want to be a dad. You know, I do think that having a father figure is insanely important. It really is insanely important. Having just a single mom also is so important, and it's insane, like, to see like a single mother raising children and whatnot, and how much they can do throughout the days, but also just to also visualize seeing a 2-parent home. That's also very important.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We're essentially raising kids to eventually be someone's partner, someone's spouse, you know, and what they learn from us, that's how that household's going to run.
Yeah.
You know, you imagine like just teaching them all the negative things that can be out there. And now when they go to look for a spouse, they're going to get that same thing.
Yeah.
You know, that's crazy that unfortunately, it takes both parents in a house to produce a good adult.
So my question for you guys then is,
So controversial.
is a father figure or lack thereof more important than what a mother does if she's raising a kid alone?
Oh, that's tough. When I look at all aspects, right, there's assistance out there.
Right.
But if you have a mom that's working multiple jobs to try to keep the house alive and
Make ends
moving
meet.
and make ends meet, how much do they get to put time in the house with the kids, or are they constantly away working? How do you balance that out?
Yeah.
You know, and that's the aspect. As soon as you asked that question, that's where my brain went, was right to, all right, how does a mom balance that out between making ends meet and then learning how to play both roles as the parent?
The first thing people do is assume that we're discounting mothers or what they do. However, the question also involves, right, the lack thereof.
Right.
So that is encompassing so much more than just what initially comes to mind of, oh, well, women can do anything. They can do everything.
Right.
Yeah.
We're not pulling away from women by asking this question.
No.
So does it have to be, and I want you guys to answer both of those, that first one, and, you know, it takes a village to raise a kid. So
Yeah.
if it's not a male in the household, then what is it, and who's raising your kids?
I would say for me personally, because I at times was a single mom, when you have to be mom and dad, you kind of lose that nurture effect that mothers should have. I also think that when you say the lack thereof,
Yeah.
we felt that in our home. Me and my son did, because though I wanted to be the nurturer, I also had to be the disciplinary. And that was hard. That was really hard, especially with boys. It kind of hardened me some to the point where, you know, I had to be mom and dad.
Good cop, bad cop,
You
all
know,
of it together.
All of it. Though I did my best, I still felt like Ian lacked because he didn't have his dad full time.
Yeah.
We felt that heavy in the home.
Yeah. No, that's actually really interesting that you mentioned that feeling hardened aspect,
Yeah.
because to be honest with you, I had never considered that point of view. You know, like I say, okay, yeah, the kid is missing this aspect. And even if you do the best job that you can at it, I still feel like it's different coming from a male.
Yeah.
You guys see it with some of our clients.
Yeah.
Where you guys can say something over and over, and one of us, usually if it's an individual behavior, can come over and say something, and it usually gets corrected significantly quicker.
Yep.
And I don't know if it's genetic. I don't know if it's biological. I don't know if certain aspects of it are just wired in us. And then obviously some things are learned as well. But I'm curious, you know, where that comes from.
Do you think dominance plays an effect? That, like, if you're looking at it as predatorial, an animal like the male, and even if you look, we'll use dogs as an example.
Yeah.
You know, the mom will have a pup and it'll bark at it one time. The dad dog steps up and gives
Yeah.
a good deep bark, and it kind of orders out the situation.
For sure.
So I wonder, does just the male aspect of having a little more dominance role, does that play an effect in it?
Oh yeah, the masculinity,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
Okay. So what does that healthy father figure look like from a woman's point of view?
For me, I'd say the healthy father figure is the person that's able to be there for everything. for the mom, for the grandparents, for the child itself, for the teachers, for everybody.
Yeah.
He's not the one that's literally just there to take care of the kid when the mom's not there. He's the one that needs to be a husband, be a father, be a son, be it all in one.
Yeah.
He needs to be able to step into the role that he needs to step into, but he needs to show it to his child while he's doing it.
Yeah.
That's such a powerful answer, to be honest, especially since I've had this conversation in dating often. One of the main things I say is, I want to be present for my kids' games.
Yeah.
I want to be present to help with homework.
Yeah.
I want to be present to take them to and from things. I like the idea of my wife being able to stay at home when I have one, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But at the same time, if you're at home and I'm the only one working and then I show up to his game, that's money missing,
Yeah.
right? So how do we balance that? Whether it's, okay, you choose something you like part-time, or where do we make this balance at for me to still be present as a father, right? And not make you feel like a full-time babysitter
Right.
when I'm at work versus, go
I
ahead.
think like reverse roles, right? At times, like I think like, especially nowadays, you got a husband that'll clean the house and watch the kids, and, really balancing out that time, because if you're saying like the woman's working or she's not working. Or
Well, so that's my dilemma, because I want her to not work, but I also want to show up there every day.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
So that's a personal dilemma. I'm not sure how many other people like deal with that thought process.
Yeah.
And that's, part of why I'm going that officer route,
Yeah.
because house is paid for, food is
Yeah.
paid for, money coming in is good.
I need that L5 pay.
That's what I'm saying. Right?
You could still not be present. I think a father has to be approachable. So many kids, especially daughters, can find that there's some intimidation that comes with bringing things to your father or wanting to spend time with your father. But just like I said, with a mother who should be nurturing, that can, be hardened because she's having to do everything by herself. In the same sense with a father, like really learning to help each other, balancing time, being approachable. You gotta be approachable, because your kids will not talk to you and not want to spend time with you. Just reversing roles. Okay, she's not gonna go to work, right? You would like for her to be at home, but maybe she takes time to do something like a hobby so that you can be with the kids, or spending time with friends. Just making sure it's not so black and white, like the father does this and the mother does this, but it's interchangeable, you know what I mean? So that you can spend quality time all around.
For sure. And one thing I say often is anything that goes to either extreme is bad.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can't be so far over here that it becomes a problem, or so far over here that it becomes a problem. And we take these gender stereotypes and we make them so black and white that people no longer can see themselves in them or identify with how to have a healthy relationship in it, because they're trying to hold to something that they think is right.
Yeah.
When every single relationship is going to be unique. The roles are going to be unique.
Yes.
Even you as one person, if you go through dating and have relationships, each relationship is going to have different dynamics.
Yeah.
But when we try to stick to those stereotypes, we get so caught up in trying to execute. And then you add becoming an adult on top of that, because like you're trying to figure out how to do things for yourself. Now it kind of pressures you to be in a relationship. Or rather, let me ask that as a question. Did growing up, hitting that, like coming out of young adult, college age, trying to hit that, like, okay, I'm starting life, this is what society says I should be as a woman, but I got to be able to take care of myself until I do find somebody to be with, or like, what does that look like for a woman?
Oof.
So, me being fresh out.
Ask Aubrey that one.
Yeah.
That is a typical thing. It's, you're in college. I want to date this person. That didn't work out. Next person. That didn't work out either. But I need to find somebody else. That didn't work out either. I'll just be alone forever. It's fine. You kind of just keep going until like you're finally like, you break. And you're just kind of like, I really just, hate's a strong word. But it's like, that's what so many people say is, I just hate everybody. I'm just going to be alone. I don't care. I'm going to have cats. I don't want to do any of that. I've strongly believe that those stereotypes are true. That's what people try to stick to the most of the time. Like, straight out of college, got to find a job right away. Or got to go back to school right away. Or got to do both right away.
Yeah.
I got to make money. I got to find a house. I got to find a husband. I got to start my family before I'm 25, or I'm going to be whatever.
How do you guys feel about, you said, I got to find someone before I get, or a family before I turn 25.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think movies and Hollywood still play a role
yeah.
in having to fulfill that thought?
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
Because I remember when we was growing up, at the time it was like, okay, all the girls growing up had to be like blonde hair, blue eyed to look beautiful during my generation.
You know, I still get
up.
that.
Do you
like,
really?
In relationships, the number one question I get is like after we break up or whatever, and they're like, I bet you're talking to somebody else. I bet you she has blonde hair. And that is the first thing I get every single time.
Really?
Even if she was blonde, yes, that is literally the question I get every single time. And I
That's
don't
crazy.
know where that comes from other than Hollywood.
Yellow.
That's shallow. It's like shallow hell.
Yeah.
If I could talk to anybody about like what Aubrey's saying, I have to date by this age. I have to get engaged. I have to start having kids or get married or have a family. First of all, you need to be the person that you would want to date. When you're at that place of choosing or even contemplating, if you're at a place of unhealed trauma, if you have some, I don't know, stuff going on, like attracts like. And so whatever's going on inside of you, if you're so eager to find a partner, you're going to run into somebody who also probably has some stuff because you haven't fully healed yourself. So I think the standard that the world says of, you know, you need to be graduated by this time or have a career by this time, start getting married or having kids. First of all, are you healthy?
Right.
Are you healthy? Are you in a healthy place? Because that's what's going to matter most when you start to look for somebody to marry. It's important for you to think that way. Now, we didn't think that way.
Yeah, as younger I didn't.
Right? Because I was like 17 thinking I was grown. Like looking back now, I can see that that was not the way to go.
Yeah.
And growing up a bit, I have also realized that the ages that we had things set for in our minds when we were younger are so unrealistic.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Very.
Like, I'm young, you know? I consider myself to still be young.
Yes.
And I'm like, man, I'm supposed to have a kid right now in people's minds.
Yeah, no.
I'm like, no.
Like, why?
I'm definitely cool without a kid at this moment, right?
Yeah.
Now, that's one of, like, it sounds so sad. Like, I said this near one of the officers, and she looked at me like, do you need help? I was like, so, like, yeah, having, like, being a father is pretty much the only thing left on my, like, checklist in life. You know, I'm like, that's the one thing that one big moment that I actually look forward to is like actually becoming a father. But I guess I said it in such a tone that was like, that's all I have left in life. But yeah, not at all how I meant it. Just like the biggest thing. I mean, what, you have like prime, turning 18, turning 21.
Right.
Like, the only thing left for me is that if I were to have a kid right now, that would greatly limit the
What
things
you
that
can
I'm
do.
working on, the things that I'm trying to do. I love to travel. Or I'm going officer. That means all of these different pieces to it. I'm like, no, there's absolutely no way I could have had a kid at 24.
Right.
Oh, not being in the
25.
military. That was me. I had Mackay at 19, right when I signed up, especially as a line unit. Mm-hmm. Back at the time, the rotation was like every 8 months.
It's like baseball.
A unit's going to get deployed.
You're out of here.
And he's gone again. So,
Yeah.
Gabby was afraid to come to me when I first got home. She would go to my mom. She would go to her other grandma. Mm-hmm. She would go to her mom. But when I tried to pick her up, I was gone cross seas. She wouldn't come to me. She was scared of me. That's what it looks like for troops. Well, that's what it did look like for troops when we was gearing up, 08, 09, putting a lot of troops cross seas.
Yeah.
Plenty of guys, man. I mean, I could tell you horror stories about guys with their kids when they were stuck over there, man. It's very traumatizing for the situations that happen. Uncle Sam's like, look, you're not going to go home. Mm-hmm. You're not in the right mind state to go home and deal with that right now.
That's the father figure where it's like, I want to be there.
Yeah.
Due to my job, I can't be there.
Yeah.
And then there's other fathers where it's like, I don't want to be there.
Yeah.
I'm seeing that my kid doesn't want me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all right.
I think too, like if you just think being a provider is all that matters, like again, you're not gonna have a full functioning family that's healthy because you have to be present. And I know some of the conversations that we had about like if a father's in the home, but is he felt in the home? Because that's really important. My father was in the home, and when I say that about approachable, I was a little intimidated by my own dad. And I felt that.
That's something you showed me though. When I first got out of the Army, I was super toxic. the girls, they're just now starting to want to come and approach me, but it's taken so much
long.
work.
Yeah.
I mean, the amount of work that you have to put in.
Yeah.
If you haven't, it's work. When Nat and I first got together, the girls, they wouldn't approach me.
Yeah.
They were scared of me because I'm coming from a line unit. I'm infantry every day, and every day we're going to go do our job and we're just going to go hard at it. Very strict, very disciplined, a lot of anger. That was like, nope. With Gabby, I shut down. She was getting into so much stuff that I didn't know how to parent her. So I was just like letting her run because it was easier on that side, not knowing what to do and not having, the partner of a mom to guide me in what I needed to do as a single father. I was completely losing the ball.
Yeah.
And how to be nurturing even.
Yeah.
So there are aspects that we as men still have to have.
Yes.
Right, that don't fit that toxic masculinity mindset,
Yeah.
but that are so crucial and critical to being able to raise strong, healthy children.
Yes.
Oh, man. Especially with girls. They really do need a father figure because now I'm seeing the whole time I was gone in the military and wasn't present, now I'm having to deal with some of them things and the amount of work that I put in daily. I have to follow that schedule, and that's the hardest thing. I want to make sure now every night I'm reading, going over devotion with them. We're praying together. We're doing things together to try to create that bond because I never created it. I was never present because I was either working, deployed, or I was in my own habits, not being a father.
True.
I studied social work, psychology, went through families and individuals. That's one of our classes. From my personal experiences and learning about it psychologically.
And a lot of our clients don't have their fathers.
Yes.
And a lot of our clients do not have their fathers. So seeing the traits and characteristics that wear off on the clients, it's a big giveaway also.
Yeah.
But through the classes with father figures, there's the masculinity, the risk taking, the boundary setting, the I have this job. Okay, you can help me with it, but you gotta stay over there. Setting limits, boundaries, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Boundaries. It's different for sons and daughters. So sons is more of the masculinity, whereas with daughters, it's the expectations for the male relationships. That's what we're talking about. The father figure is to show the daughter who is she supposed to look for in her future.
Yes.
I had personally my papa, not blood, but he's been there since I was born. My stepfather, he's been there since I was 2, moved us here when I was 4 or 5. And then my biological dad, who didn't want to start seeing me until I was 6, 7, whatnot, every other weekend. I saw 3 different sides. All 3 of them showed me different things. My grandfather, he taught me more stuff about who I am personally. He taught me golf. He taught me how to talk to others, where my comedy funniness. Yeah, so the humor comes from. My stepdad, he taught me the good, the bad, the ugly. He taught me individuals around safety.
Yeah.
Safety versus not safe. My biological father taught me how to not be a father, who not to look for in a relationship. That I have a voice, tell him everything that's on my mind. 3 times we've gotten in an argument. Because I talk to him now, but I talk to him maybe once a month. He doesn't know who I am. The questions he asks me are wrong questions, like about a sport that I'm not even in, maybe. So growing up with somebody who doesn't know me, growing up with somebody who has learned about me and stepped up and went into that role, and then having one other individual who enlightened me.
Yeah, for sure. My dad, he was out of the military as well. He was in the Air Force. He served.
Barely military. No, I'm
Hey, I have a couple too, okay?
Air Force.
He was, Dad was, like I said, there was some angry. He was kind of angry.
Yeah, he had some trauma in the
He had some
in the Air
trauma.
Force.
He had some serious trauma.
Yeah.
He
Head trauma. He actually had like
almost
physical
died.
trauma.
Yeah, so I don't blame Dad too much for certain things.
And that was a different time period.
It was.
So for a lot of people who make those jokes, which I
Yes.
know I did, but yeah, there were still like big things going on when you talk about how far back that was.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I'm 37, so.
Yeah, I think he said he was like.
I wasn't going to expose you like that.
It's all right. I'm not ashamed. You know.
Didn't he say he did get deployed? I think at the time it might have been Grenada or it was down in the Panama Canal. He was security forces.
Oh,
So-
okay.
so
he
Their
talks-
version of MPs,
Yeah.
military police.
He talks more to my husband, I swear. than he does to me, but
Well, I mean that's because we're veterans and we
but
both
yeah,
share
about
our
that type of
stories.
stuff. He was definitely present in the home, but because he was like old school, and the two main men that I had in my life was, you know, him and his dad. My grandfather was just the best man ever in the world. If you got to meet him, you know. So if you didn't, sorry for you. My dad, he was present. He provided, but he was unapproachable. I learned the ins and outs of how I should act. Manners were big. Integrity was big for him, and respect. I learned at a young age how to carry myself pretty well.
Yeah.
Never really had problems in relationships until I got older and then was rebellious. Anything I could take away from my time with him, the only thing I wished he would have done a little bit more is to prepare me for my future husband type deal. You know, I think there's a saying that, like Aubrey said, girls are typically drawn to men that remind them of their fathers. And
Or carry the traits and characteristics.
yes, and thought I had found that, you know, the first go around at it. Of course, I didn't. I got a beautiful son out of it. I didn't fully know what I needed in a partner at that time because I didn't get to have the uncomfortable conversations that one should have with their father, especially about men, how they should treat you and, you know, how they should be in a relationship with you. I think I lacked in that area because of it.
Yeah.
But I learned, man, I feel like good character from my dad and the way that he carried himself. Everybody loved my dad and talked to him. And so socially, I think I got skills that he taught me, like almost indirectly. You know,
Yeah.
he was a pastor growing up. So I, you know, was always meeting new people. I was always in church. I learned very valuable morals for myself at such a young age with him. Even today, you know, I love my dad to death. And he started having conversations with me, I think, too late. I think it was already after the fact that I thought I was grown and wanted to do what I wanted to do, and then found myself in some situations that my dad had to walk me through.
Yeah.
And so I'm so thankful that he did. However, I think had he, again, I love you, Dad, but if he would have been a little bit more approachable, I think I could have asked him about guys early on.
Right.
You know, when you grow up in a Christian home,
Frame of
it's-
thinking,
yes.
reference,
Yeah.
how we move, right? Those elements that I can tell you as your partner how other guys view you, what
Yes.
those interactions mean, and you're not going to believe me.
No,
Right? But from your father,
you're gonna believe him.
you are.
Yeah.
And those things are necessary.
Yes.
And then let me say this, because I know we've been really conversational, but you guys already know how I am. The whole point of this is for you guys, all of us, to be better. What I have to tell you is, especially since many of us, right, like my two previous relationships, they each had a kid, they each had a daughter. For those of you stepping into a stepfather type role, or for many of you guys that have gotten married and you're having kids, especially around my age, if you are not respecting your partner's boundaries, enforcing them, okay, you enforce her boundaries.
Yeah.
It's not just respecting her boundaries. Whatever you say and she says, you enforce.
Yeah.
And then you respect and enforce those boundaries for your kids as well, even if they're not biologically yours. Protect your partner, protect those kids.
Yes.
And if you are one of my friends and you're not protecting your kids, I'm going to break my foot off in your ass. And that's how you guys have to be with your friends, okay?
Yeah.
Because we have to hold each other accountable.
Yeah.
And kids are not to be played with
No.
or to be hurt. But here's something I want to talk about that Jesus says. Jesus says it is better for you to have a millstone tied around your neck and for you to be thrown into the ocean than to lead one of my kids astray.
Yeah. Yep.
He literally said, that's going to be a better result for you than when you see me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, he says that two different ways. He says, whoa, to the man
Yeah.
that causes another to sin.
Literally. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
if you're going to cause that other person to sin, whether by telling them, leading them, or showing them, whoa,
Yeah.
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 You'll be held accountable.
you'll be held accountable
will.
for that.
This episode didn't challenge your thinking and resonate with you, you just weren't really listening. I'm Justin Kashmirchek, founder of the EGT Universe, and it's been a pleasure being here with you on this journey. If you know someone who's starting a business, rebuilding their brand, or just needs a serious digital upgrade, hit me up. I'm at JumpCutKing on Instagram, or head over to egtuniverse.com. That's egtuniverse.com, and drop me a line. Also, show some love to Carter and the crew behind Classic Man. Head over to classicmanpodcast.com for all the guest info, all the official links, and bonus content. Also, chip in. I'm a cup of coffee. Let's be real. If we as men don't show up together, don't band together, we can't grow together. So check back here every week, same time, here on your favorite podcast platform for the most up-to-date content. Don't get caught slipping. Stay connected. We'll see you right here, Classic Man Podcast, next time.